Where have I been? That is a great question. We don't have to get into that. Things happen. People get busy. People catch COVID. So I had something scripted, and this is something completely different because I think I just sound really weird with a script. One thing that I am sure of, however, is that I am 24 years old, and something that I don't want a lot of people to know about me as an adult is I am a huge fan of Pokemon. So you can imagine my excitement when my favorite region, Sinnoh, got its remake, which we'll get into that. And then they announced this new IP, Legends Arceus, that's also based around Sinnoh. And honestly, as soon as November hit, I knew I was gonna be like gone. Like social life, nah. But the weirdest thing happened while I was playing, and it's never happened before. I've played through Diamond and Pearl so many times, or specifically Platinum, because that's the one that I have. You know what, actually only Platinum. I've played through Platinum multiple times, but something weird happened about halfway through me playing Brilliant Diamond, and yeah, I got bored. If you're a fan of literally any other gaming franchise, that's probably just something you knew was gonna happen. It's a Pokemon game. Pokemon hasn't switched up the formula. Looking back, this is something that's been happening with the past generations, like ever since Black and White. So Gen 5, Gen 6, Gen 7, Gen 8 was the only exception, but Sword and Shield, despite all of its flaws, it's a great game. It just needed to be polished out a little more. And I think with the DLC, it's kind of there, but But it was weird coming to that realization. I always kind of had that thought in the back of my head ever since Gen 5, Pokemon's just not good anymore, or nothing's gonna beat Sinnoh ever. If I ever play through a Sinnoh game, I'm not gonna get bored, which for the most part held true whenever I replayed Platinum. But this one, despite being everything that my inner child had wanted, I was very surprised. Not because I got bored, but because of all games to get bored of, it was a Sinnoh game, my alleged favorite game. You hate to see it, but part of the problem is that these remakes have the same issue that everything has had since Gen 6, where there's a heavy emphasis on graphics, the visual overhaul of Pokemon, to where they're like, gameplay? Fuck that. And Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, they do not look pretty by any means. I think they look worse than X and Y, and that was a 3DS game. I know what they were going for, but if they were gonna remake it, full send it, dude. Don't what the fuck are you doing? Once you get out of that nostalgia kind of phase, that's when you realize these games are awful. It's super buggy. The animation for all the Pokemon just don't exist. You can catch Typhlosion in this game, which is fantastic. That's amazing. But then you remember what Typhlosion looks like. But I still went in. I tried to keep the game fresh for myself whenever I replay through Sinnoh or any generation really. I try to use a different team every time, just kind of keep me on my toes, use trash Pokemon on purpose. And I'm not gonna lie, Cynthia was a struggle. Cynthia, you ever fight Cynthia with a Lumineon? Cause I don't know why I did that, but was I satisfied? Yes. Was I happy that my favorite generation finally got a remake? Extra yes. I'm super excited that this happened, but at the same time, so much more could have been done here. The Underground was an amazing concept. What else did we get? That's it. That's all we got. We got a free Mew. We got a free Jirachi. You could still get Shaman if you do the little bug thing. They kept it faithful down to the glitches, and I think that's kind of the problem I have with it. Being the blinded fanboy that I am, I bought both games, so that is $120 I am not going to get back, and I am still unsure if that's a bad decision, but I'm sure the answer is not no. But hey, we don't got to talk about that. We don't got to talk about that. We could talk about literally anything else, but the anything else in particular for this video, as you may have seen in the title, is Legends Arceus. Once again, I am a huge Pokemon fan. That being said, This is the best fucking Pokemon game I've played in 20 years. I have never been so immersed in a Pokemon game to the point where I just didn't finish the story. The changes to combat, the changes to catching Pokemon, the landscapes, I'm not gonna lie, it's not pretty, and a lot of them look the same. One's green, the other one's like a darker green, one of them's reddish kinda, one of them is the previous green, but there's also a lot of water, and then the other one has snow. You know, it's not an ugly game if you compare it to like PS2 games, but even with that, I think we got some here. I think we got some here. So BDSP was handled by ILCA. I'm just gonna say Ilka because that's how I pronounced it the first time I saw it. I don't know if that's correct. I've seen people just like spell it out, but fuck it, Ilka. Game Freak had Ilka develop BDSP, so in the meantime they could work on their new IP, I guess, Legends Arceus. Well, it's not a new IP, you know what I mean. And I think that was the best idea that Game Freak has ever had. And at the same time, that is the worst fucking idea Game Freak has ever had. So BDSP, that is a generational remake that would have been treated as a mainline game, and it is a mainline game, but it being developed by someone else gives Game Freak that year off to go make another project. As we know, they've just been pumping shit out year by year, occasionally 2 years, occasionally 3 years. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't pay attention. On one hand, the original Pokemon formula that was definitely going to be used for BDSP, that is not hard to copy, and Ilka for the most part knocked it out of the park. They said faithful remake, and that remake is faithful as shit, almost too faithful, but you probably already guessed that. That means Game Freak was able to develop Pokemon Legends Arceus with all the time in the world for the next year. This is a great idea. I think it worked out well until it stopped working out well. Ilka, I'm not too sure what else that they've developed, but it's definitely not no Pokemon game, I tell you that. The games just kept getting buggier as time went on. We got the Sword and Shield and everybody was like, what the fuck is that tree? What are we looking at? That's weird. With all the bugs present in Sword and Shield, that does not compare to BDSP, because like you could just skip most of the game. You could skip to Cynthia. You can skip Cynthia. You can skip the 7th gym. I knew they were bad games. I didn't think they were awful games, but yeah, you know, look, the hamster wheel's turning a little bit. Anyway, that's why it's bad for BDSP. So this is why it's bad for Legends Arceus. So if you're unaware, market-wise, Game Freak is the most profitable company making only Pokemon games, and second place is not close at all. It's very not close when it comes to developers. It's almost problematic how financially stable Game Freak is right now, because Pokemon, that's one of a kind, baby. We could drop the worst game ever. You throw Pokemon on it, it's the top selling game of the year. And even if it's not the top selling game of the year, it's up there. Pokemon fans are the first to say that graphics don't matter, and then complain about the graphics. Why the fuck do you think the tree thing even started? I'm a Pokemon fan and that looks like shit. And so we finally get the trailer for Legends Arceus, and not gonna lie, she's looking a little bit rough, but it does say that it's not the finalized gameplay, so we're all kind of hopeful. But for the most part, we know that when Game Freak puts not final product, 9 times out of 10 that's the final product. And then come around to the next trailer, I mean, you know, frame rate looks a little bit better, but it's still awful. It is awful. And now the game on release, it kind of has that thing where from a distance it looks fine. It looks like a very well polished GameCube game. That in mind, it is 2022 and I did not want a GameCube game. As much as I like hopping on Hisui and Braviary and just zooming across the land, it's kind of hard to take anything seriously when it has the render distance of a fucking carrot. And although people were complaining about things like this, as well as the shitty frame rate by just turning the camera a little bit, still, Pokemon fans, graphics don't matter. It's fine. We're here for the gameplay, which is amazing. The child in me that wanted to go on a journey in a Pokemon game, that wanted to go on a real life Pokemon journey, I finally got that with this game, and that's the main reason I've been unable to put it down. I took a break for a day or two, and then the day I came back, I lost like 6 hours of my day just playing Pokemon, and I am nowhere near done with the game, which is great. But at the same time, I want it to run at 30 frames per second at least. And to be honest, graphically, this is probably one of the better games we've gotten. It's maybe a tiny bit better than Sword and Shield. Granted, it's nowhere near Pokemon Snap, but Pokemon Snap is also like an on rails kind of thing. I don't think that should count, but it sucks because it comes down to performance issues, and people put this on Nintendo saying, I get it, it's the Switch, they worked with what they got, which is fair, but at the same time, another game that we got on the Switch is Zelda Breath of the Wild, and many people have made this comparison already, but looking at the games side by side, look man, it's not about the graphics. It's the fact that Breath of the Wild appears to have more on the screen at any given time, but at the same time, runs better than Legends Arceus at any given time. And that's what makes this game hard to review without any kind of bias, because if I wasn't a Pokemon fan, I could tell you straight up, this game is dog shit. But I am a Pokemon fan, so I'm not going to do that. As a Pokemon fan, and assuming that this is some kind of mainline game, maybe not a mainline game, but hopefully a spin-off or sister series kind of thing, this is the most immersive Pokemon has ever felt. Going out and catching Pokemon with a team of Pokemon from the Pokemon that I've caught, and this is back in the day, baby, so ain't nobody caught these motherfuckers yet. I'm the first. This is my story, nigga. Traveling through all these different biomes, meeting friendly Pokemon in the wild, meeting scared Pokemon in the wild, meeting violent Pokemon in the wild. And I haven't beaten the game, but based off the name, I think at some point you fight God, which, you know, they've tackled before, but usually you fight God with your Pokemon. And in this game, pretty sure you're gonna fight God with, like, your body. You are gonna fight. You're gonna fight God. It's almost sad because it is only February, but I feel like I've played a lot of games, and Legends Arceus is somehow the worst game I've played so far this year, and the best game I've played so far this year. I don't know how to describe it. I am still very torn. Hopefully I'll come to a decision, any decision, by the end of the game, whether it's like good, bad. It's probably going to be bad, not going to lie. I haven't really paid attention to the story of any Pokemon game recently, and this one isn't seeming too promising either. I'm just kind of rolling around catching shit. Dark Souls. Anyway, I didn't really have anything to talk about. This video is probably all over the place. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not gonna say the algorithm words, and I still don't have an outro, so I'm gonna end the video right now.